So, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my first ever podcast. I'm here with Pedro. Pedro, introduce yourself.
Hello, nice to meet you guys. Thanks for being on the channel.
Yep.
Okay,
It's my
class. When you figure
first
out
ever
Get ready.
podcast. So let's just see how this goes. All right, we're gonna first talk about the Muslims. Well, Muslims in the UK. So, what's your opinion on the Muslims in the UK, Pedro, and recent attacks?
Well, I think that a lot of people are blaming Muslims in general. I think that a lot of people are uneducated on what's actually going on, and they're putting the blame on a whole religion rather than actually targeting the disgusting people that I don't actually think even deserve to be called Muslims. They're just vile people. And I think that the way the media is going about it, the way that, uneducated people are going about it, they're saying ban all Muslims. And I think that's wrong. I think they've got no right to say that because, as I said, it's vile people targeting others for no reason and just blaming the religion. So yeah, I mean,
Uh, uh,
it's not cool, man.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I actually agree with you with that because it's not like it's all Muslims, and they do it to Muslims as well. Back in Syria and the Muslim countries, they do it to them people. So it's not like it's all of the Muslims. It's just a group of people which are against everyone, basically. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, and the thing is that what people don't understand is that people who live in Islamic countries, they are Muslims, fair enough. But I'm Portuguese. I could be a Muslim. English people could be Muslims. Australian people could be Muslims. It's a religion. Anyone can join a religion. And I think that people saying that these people need to be deported, that Muslim people need to be deported, that's too generic. They're not understanding what they're saying. It's not that these people are all Islamic from Islamic countries. Do you get what I mean? It's
Yeah.
it's it's people from all over the world.
No, no, I totally get what you mean. It's not like it's a race. It's just a belief.
Yeah,
It's an ideology that people follow. It's not like it's from everyone in the world. Like it's not like it has to be, oh, they're from Iraq, they're Muslims. It's not like that. It's just someone like you said. You might be Muslim yourself. Anyone can be that. I totally agree with what you mean. But like I watched your video, your should we ban Muslims video, and my question to you is: do we send Muslims back to where they came from or different countries? Do we send them away?
no, because that's where it starts to get really tricky. Because where do you put those people? If they are from England, where do you send them? What, to Islamic countries? To places they're not even from? I think that it's wrong to think that we should just ship away everyone who has a belief of obviously following Allah and things. It's not even about that. It's about the people who are disgusting enough to carry out actions that are going to affect and impact people's lives, innocent people, children's lives. I think they need to be punished, but I don't think that the solution is banning everyone. I think that's too broad of a statement to make. I just don't agree with it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you like that point as well because I wanted to ask that question. I wanted to kind of see more insight to your opinion on it. Yes, I don't think we should kick everyone out that's a Muslim because then how do you know someone's Muslim? Do you assume from their race? How do you assume they're Muslim? Because you can't just send every single Muslim. And even if you do, like you said, it's going to ruin people's lives because you're going to send them to somewhere they're not even from. Maybe they're English and they're Muslim, and you're going to send them somewhere they don't like. And that might cause a lot of problems in their futures and lives and kids' life as well. Like you said, it's going to destroy them. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
My next question to you is, do we make our borders stricter so we don't allow everyone from every country to come in?
Well, I think that it is important to have that level of control of the population in general, not to do with Muslims, just in general. I think that it should be a priority to do background checks and obviously make sure that people are you know checked out before they come into the country. I believe that it's difficult because you can be from a background that you support and follow Allah, but you can't necessarily You don't have to declare that anywhere. You don't have to declare it on your passport. You don't have to say anything about your religion. It's a choice. But I definitely think that in general, the population does need to be controlled. I think that some people do come over to this country for a better life, but end up being on benefits and living off the state, which I think is wrong. I think if you're coming over to the country, like I did, my family did, I came over to England when I was 3 years old. And my father moved here just to give us a better life. And obviously, he's worked his entire life. But I think restricting who comes in, if you have a valid reason, yes. If not, then you can't just stop someone because of their background. That's just racism.
Yeah. No, I know. I understand what you're saying. I actually, I'm gonna say this the third time. I agree with you, but I still think that our borders shouldn't be as strict as well, because then, like you said, I was born in this country. I'm not English. My nationality is I'm Turkish, so that's a Muslim country. It's been seen as a Muslim country, but I'm not Muslim myself. But my parents came in a young age as well. When they were 16, they came to this country to start a better future, better life. But because considering the UK now, they need a whole education system. They need to know about back all the way to the first Victorian that there ever was to able to now get into this country. Anyone else that wants to get into this country, they need to know all that information. And if we make them stricter, don't you think this is just gonna basically stopping everyone from like Syria, Iraq, the Syrian refugees to come into this country? Isn't that stopping them if we make our borders stricter?
Well, like I said, I'm not saying that we should restrict who comes into this country based on their religion or their background, their ethnicity. I think that if people come here to seek help, to seek a better life, I think that's absolutely fine. I just think that if you are coming over here with the intention of living off the state, then I think that is wrong. I think if you have to do that for a period of time to get yourself back on your feet, I think that's absolutely fair enough. I appreciate that your parents moved to England. As I said, my parents did the exact same thing to give me and to give themselves a better life, better stability. The education system, for example, in Portugal, it's very, very poor. Here, I've just finished, I've recently finished my A levels and things. I have qualifications that back in my country I probably wouldn't have with such ease. But yeah, in terms of making the border stricter, just in summary, I think make it stricter if it's going to stop people from living off benefits when they don't need to. But don't make it stricter if it's people seeking a better life and a chance of escaping, really poor and traumatizing conditions like war, like, racism.
No. Uh, yeah, I understand. But how do we know the intention of these people that come here not to just to stay? Period. How do we know they're not gonna illegally run away? Because we have illegal immigrants in this country. Well, how do we know they're not gonna become illegal immigrants as well? When we do, what if they just stay here continuously and build their lives on here? And because we want them to kind of go back, not in a bad way, but if we just keep letting people in and in, it's gonna bring down our thing as well, our tax, our housings, everything's gonna start decreasing space for people. So and you said if they're allowed here for a period of time, how do we know they're gonna go back? How do we send them back?
That's a good question because we don't. We've got to, obviously, we can't say that, oh, him or her, they're not allowed into this country. At the end of the day, if people want to come here, they should have every right to come here. But let me just put it from a perspective of an experience that I've had. Last year, back in February, me and my family were actually made homeless, me and my partner and her family, due to mental health problems. Now, the thing with that is that there are a lot of people, as I said, that may come here with the intention of living off the state. Now, because of that, I am fortunate enough to have put myself back on my feet. But, I've still got family members that are still homeless. And it's been a year and a half since that. And I think that's where it gets really difficult because we're obviously, they were born in the country. That's fair enough. They grew up in the country. And due to health issues, they lost their house. And for them not having the chance to get a house because someone else who is perfectly able to work, who's perfectly able to set themselves up in life hasn't, I think that is wrong. But to answer your question, it is really, really difficult to know why people are coming in.
Yeah. Um, I I feel sorry that you was homeless. To be honest, I don't understand. I wouldn't understand your position. It probably was a really bad place them a year ago then. Because I've never been homeless myself. I've always had a good income, shall I say. My parents, when I first moved in, of course, they didn't have nothing as well. But I never went through that life, and I understand where you're coming from. But then these, then how do we stop them then? If we're going to let refugees in, how do we trust them? Because these attacks happen, and you're going to be like, okay, it's not the refugees are doing it, but what if they do these attacks as well? How do we make sure that we don't invite the wrong people in? I know you said we wouldn't know their intentions, but is there a way we can find out? Because I don't want to open our borders fully, but I don't want to close them either. So do you have any ideas how we can check up on this?
I think just doing extensive background checks, looking at their life back in the country that they were from, seeing, the kind of life that they led, and really going deep by having interviews and things like that, by seeing, what their plan is, having people like support workers in place to keep track of what these people are doing, making sure they're on the right path. I think that what we need is support. I think that is the main thing. It's people making sure that, they're coming in here and, maybe they need a little bit of time to adjust to the environment. It's a different culture completely. But yeah, just having support, I think, is important. I think that would be the idea that I would put out.
The thing you said about checking how they were in the country they came from, but if they're Syrian refugee, how do we check their backgrounds? Do they have these online backgrounds? Do they still exist because of all the bombing and killing? Do they exist? Because I read an article recently, and it said that the Syrians their lives are gone completely. There is no history on them. There's no background. They're starting a fresh life. So how do we know how they were before? Because maybe they're prison escapees. Maybe there's ISIS members in between those refugees trying to access the country. How do we determine that? Because then that means we need to close the borders. But then that's going to cause people inside the country, Muslims, not maybe Muslims, but people that have the idea that ISIS are okay, that might make them get more angry because you're suppressing them and you're just doing something they want. You're doing something that they want it to not happen, basically, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So how do we determine? Do we let them in, or do we put them in a secure location in the country? What do we do? Because we can't just let them in as well. Because, like I just said to you, there could be ISIS members. Maybe the people that did cause the attacks were ISIS members. No one knows. But one of the people that did cause it was a teacher. Can you believe a teacher caused an attack?
I think that there are a lot of people in this world that they may appear to have the best intentions. Teachers, people in, the police, in the emergency services. I think you never fully know a person. I have always grown up with the knowledge that we are all capable of doing bad things. It doesn't matter if you followed God for your whole life. It doesn't matter if you've never committed a crime in your life. We are all capable of making bad decisions, and it is all up to the individual. There is nothing we can do deep down to stop these people. Yeah, it's disgusting to know that a teacher would do that, but you can say that about anything. Look back 6 months to when the whole Black Lives Matter movement was going on. It's, police killing innocent people. It's people who have authority and power who abuse it. I think it's disgusting, but as I said, I don't think there's anything we can do about it because everybody's capable of harming.
That's true. But then that's what scares people. Because at the end of the day, then who do you trust? can you trust even your own government? Then, because how do we know? Because there was a small theory that these attacks were happening because of Theresa May. She was causing them to delay the general election. Because then what you just said says to me that, oh, what if these IDs are correct? Because then who do we trust? Can we trust our police? What if our police are behind something? What if there's ISIS members? Then who do we trust? How do we trust? What do we do? Because we can't live in a world where we're just away from society itself. Because it will always follow us. Because you can live in the middle of nowhere, but there's always people that are going to. You're still going to be connected to the country, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be a pretty weird statement to say, but trust everyone and trust nobody. So, in terms of the services that we rely on, so the fire department, the police department, the any emergency services, or anyone with authority and power like the government, I think that we need to have a level of trust in them, because if we didn't, as you said, we can't go around leading our lives like that. That's no way. That's no way to live. But at the same time, I think that we need to have that knowledge that, as I said, people are capable of anything, and we just need to be wary about what we're going into, which is why I don't vote personally, because a lot of these different parties, they obviously promise all these different things with their policies, but does anything actually ever happen? Does anything go into place? And my opinion is no. My opinion is my vote doesn't matter, because I can have faith in someone, but it doesn't mean they're going to do what they've said. I've had a life where people I trust, family members, friends, I thought that, they were loved ones. They were people that I could trust, and they've betrayed my trust. I trust people until they give me a reason not to trust. And that is exactly what I think needs to happen, And you've got to think that there are horrible people out there, but it is only a minority.
Yeah, of course. Everyone in the world is bad. But then it just scares people, because then you think to yourself, do we let the Muslims in? Because then do we trust them? Because you said, do trust everyone until they give. You said you trust people until they give you a reason not to. Then what if like recent attacks? What if people go the same ideology but change it a bit, like manipulate it a bit, and they say, I don't trust no Muslims now anymore because look, one of them caused an attack. He was Muslim. It's not sure if he's 100%, but he could. Are you still there? Hello?
Yeah, hello. Sorry about
No,
that. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think that some people take it to an extreme. Some people would take my idea and twist it completely. But I think that those people need more education. They need to be more aware of what's going on. A lot of people that make these statements, I saw on my social media people saying, oh, we need to ban these people. Well, who are these people? The bad people, yes, but not Muslims. I think that's where society goes wrong. I think in the education system, I think it needs to be a priority to talk about things like this, to talk about real life situations. I understand that subjects like maths and English, they are important, but so is preparing you for life. So is preparing you for having knowledge about these types of things that are really, really serious. So I think, to answer your question, it's difficult because people are going to twist what others think, and they're going to completely take it out of context. But I think that more education's needed, and more training's needed as well.
All right, totally understandable. My next question to you is: do we allow people that go to Syria, like from people like maybe someone that goes to Syria or a Muslim country, then returns back? Do we allow them in? Because some terrorist things that happened because of people that went to Syria and came back.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
do we allow them to come back, or do we allow them to go up in the first place?
I think, as I said about trust, I think if they've proven themselves at that time to be someone who is coming into the country for a positive reason, if they've proved that, then I think, yes, they should be allowed back. However, if there's someone who's been in the country for, let's say, 2 years, and they have proved that they're not actually bringing anything into the economy, like they're not contributing by getting a job, for example, then I think that's where it starts to get a little bit more difficult, because obviously people go into different countries to have a better lifestyle. So definitely allow them back if they've proven themselves to be worthy. I know that sounds really, really bad, but in a way that's like, you just got to be careful about who you're letting in. And it's like I said, you got to trust people until they give you a reason not to trust. So, yeah.
But then again, there was a story I was reading recently, and in the story it says that a man, a guy that was in his college times, a teenager, he was an A-star student, really good person, very nice, and then he went to holiday in Syria. But then he returned back and had a very negative attitude, and actually he nearly had a terrorist attack. He nearly caused a terrorist attack to happen. Then what happens then? Because then he was a nice student, but he went there and came back wrong. But then, what do we do to stop that? Do we not allow them to go?
I think that again, very difficult question to answer. I think that it's a shame that people have the capacity to do things like that and have the willpower and actually want to commit crimes like that. But I think that there is no way of determining whether someone's going to end up doing that.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just important just to be cautious about people's intentions of going to different countries, people's intentions of of just doing anything, people's intentions of getting involved in certain things. You've got some jobs. So, for example, say if you go into chemistry, some people go into chemistry for the purpose of learning how to make drugs. It's not the right reason to do it, but you can never determine their reason and behind what they're going to do. So, I think there's no way of stopping them. I think it's just one of those things that are really difficult, and it would never work. It doesn't matter what.
Oop. Sorry guys, we've just run into technical difficulty. The call has ended. We're going back. Hello.
Apologies for that.
No
I think the
problem.
connection just dropped. Sorry, as I was saying, I think it's difficult to determine the reason for people going into certain things, and I think that it's just one of them things. It's either you allow everyone to do something or you allow no one to. So, for example, you allow everyone to leave the country and migrate where they want to, or you just let no one do it at all. I think that's the best way to solve it.
Okay. So our conclusion to this whole topic is basically you can never determine who is in the right and who's in the wrong, and you cannot blame a group of people for it, right?
Definitely. Yes,
So
completely agree.
that's our
Yeah.
conclusion. All right. So I think we should move away from that topic because it's basically we're going in a circle. Because you can never determine who is the good person and who's the bad person, basically. All right. So my next topic is about Jake Paul and Logan Paul, about the shit they've been doing, basically. I believe have a feeling. Actually, let me ask you a feeling. What do you think that was all about? Was it serious or was it just joke or what was it? Pedro? Oh. Technical difficulties, guys. Apologies again. We seem to have internet problems. Isn't inside. Hello?
I apologise for this keep cutting out. I've only a house and my internet's not very stable, but let's carry on.
Yeah, okay. Did you hear my question?
I did not, sorry.
Okay, I said we're moving on to the topic of Jake Paul and Logan Paul.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, what's your idea on it? Do you think it was a stunt, or was it real, or what was it?
I think it was a massive stunt. If you look at their subscribers before and after what they did about the whole roasting and then the second verse and everything, it was a massive stunt. If you looked on YouTube around that time, a week ago or so, every title of a video would include the second verse.
Yeah.
It's people do just to try and get fame. I think these days everyone will try anything just to be famous.
I actually totally agree with you that I didn't want to say it at first, but my whole opinion on it was all a total stunt. It was just all faked. It was just they knew it would catch people's attentions, and they knew Drama Law would, because look at what Logan's doing. Logan's keep in PewDiePie to roast him. Why would you want someone to roast you? You would want like a big YouTuber like him. If I asked PewDiePie to roast me, why would I want a big guy like him to roast me to millions of 50 million of people? The reason for that is because I would want the subscribers to subscribe to me, even if they don't like me, just to just subscribe to me and see my bullshit content, basically. Because that's what the attention's like. After he did that PewDiePie diss, I immediately knew. I had a feeling before, but I couldn't determine. But after that PewDiePie thing, it was off. It's 100%. Because even in his title, where his recent video where he's like, "Oh, PewDiePie dissed me," PewDiePie didn't diss him. PewDiePie said one word about him. He said, "I don't need to diss him," and he made it a big deal. He made it like, "Oh, he did diss me," if you get what I mean.
Well, of course, because it's the biggest YouTuber in the world is gonna bring in views. I mean, if you look at Jake Paul's videos recently, for example, he's apparently married someone. Now, I watched the video to the end and found out that he didn't actually marry the girl. Her name's Erica. He didn't actually marry Erica. It was all a stunt, and it was like a fake marriage. But if you look at the amount of views he's got on those videos, 8 million, it's in the millions every single
Wow.
day. He's very, very, clickbaity.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because I was like, wow. It's the things that I don't understand. They were always like this in a way, but I have no idea. Is it because they're failing, or were they dropping subscribers? What was it? Because was this their intention the whole time with starting YouTube? Did they wait for the perfect time to do it? Which means perfect time is where everything was boring and no drama had no one to talk about, and they just made this quick thing, so it became so massive because nothing else was interesting at that point. And everyone just got drawn into that. I think it was. That's what I think. I think there was no other time to do it.
Yeah, and I think that if you look at YouTube now and YouTube a year ago, it's definitely changed a lot. A lot of people have blown up on YouTube because they are posting clickbait titles. I mean, I'm even guilty of it myself. You posting a title, "Should we ban Muslims?" That's very much a clickbait title.
Yeah.
But that is just the way that YouTube is going. In order to survive in in this kind of YouTube environment, you kind of need to be like that nowadays because it's what draws people in, and it's sad, but it's just
the
what
truth.
happens.
Yeah. No, but looking from your video, your channel right now, I can see like your recent video says "scammed by Talk Talk," award-winning company, and you put that in things. It is clickbaity, 100%.
Of course.
Yeah, but that does what it draws people in it. Like, let me just give you the statistics in your "should we ban Muslims" topic. Look at the video before it. In the past videos, the past 3 videos, you got only 62 views. But when you mention a Muslim ban, you got 86 views.
Definitely. I must admit, over the past couple of months, I haven't been working on my YouTube as hard as I could, which is why I haven't drawn in as much attention. But if you have a look on my channel, I've got a video that
Pornhub?
is Pornhub introduced panda porn. Look
Yeah.
at the amount, right? I wasn't on YouTube after I posted that for a month, and then I came back onto YouTube and noticed that I had over 700 views that had just been brought in because why? First of all, I've got a picture of a very attractive lady in it. And
Yeah.
second of all, got the word porn in it twice.
Yeah. Porn. Yeah. It definitely was. It drew in people immediately.
For example, as well, I've got another video, a Q&A with my mother-in-law where we talk sex, right? We did actually talk sex in the video, but again, it's talking sex with a woman. It's what YouTube is.
Yeah.
It's people going onto it with the intention of clicking on these titles that are really drawing people in, but also people who watch porn and things like that.
Yeah.
it's going to draw them because they're interested to see what I'm actually
What's
going to
going
do in
on?
that
Yeah,
video.
they're like, oh, he took because then you wrote porn. They're like, oh, is it actually porn? What is it about? They get drawn into that. Or like your thing video where you said, what was it? How to grow your channel videos.
Yeah,
You got
yeah,
4,160 views in part one. Like that, wow, that's massive. That's more than the total views I have on my channel.
yeah.
Because that,
And I going back to what I was saying about how the environment of YouTube changed. A year ago, I had a channel. I was actually partnered with Machinima. I'm not sure if you're aware who they are.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like a big
yeah,
gaming
yeah, yeah,
company,
yeah, I know.
and I used to do gaming. Now, I used to get on average about 2,000 views every video
Hmm.
because the environment of YouTube was so different that just posting gameplay, people were interested, and people like subscribers would be interested to see what I'd be posting. But you've got to think that now you've got to keep your viewers entertained. You've got
Hmm.
to be posting these types of titles and these types of videos because it's the best thing. If you see the past few videos I've posted have been, like the Muslim ban, being scammed, partying with a big gangster, things like that,
Yeah,
that are like, oh, find out what this is all about.
yeah, and of course, like even if you go to my channel, it's even my channel. I try to keep away the clickbait, the capital letter titles. Like my recent videos, funny random CS:GO moments. It was thing, but some people actually watched it because there was a female in the video with me,
Yeah,
and people commented about it. I deleted a few comments because of it. It's just it drew people. I don't know how I don't know why, but it just drew people that I never had comments from in. Asking about, and I was like, okay, then delete, because I didn't want that negativity in my channel, or such as my video where I say all this drama and what I think about it. I had 103 views in that. And previously, when I did the challenge video or the behind the scenes, I only got like 70, 60, or random gameplay. 35 views, 38 views. My views are not as high as yours, of course. But like, these, when I look at, and I barely upload. If you look at my channel, you can see it. And that just shows to me and what interests people. And my people always tell me, they're like, oh, why don't you do clickbait? And then some people say, don't do clickbait because it's not good. I'm like, but it, it's what brings people to your videos. And the second it brings people into your videos, if they say, okay, the content was good, then they will subscribe. It just because I did a clickbait video doesn't mean they're going to subscribe to me because of I did clickbait. They're going to subscribe because they like the content.
of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been doing YouTube I'm 19. I've been doing it since I was about 11 or 12. I've been doing it for a long time. I've had very different channels, from
Hmm.
gaming to challenge to vlogs. I've done it all.
Hmm.
And what I've found works the most is clickbait. Definitely. It's what draws people in, as I said. And I'm sad about that because I want to be posting things that I find interesting and then other people find interesting. But to initially get the loyalty and the attraction from other people, I think that's what I need to do right now. And it's a little bit sad, but it's just what goes on in this type of YouTube environment nowadays.
Yeah, of course. It's what it is. Alright. So and plus we're small YouTubers. Us doing this is kind of it's more justified than high like YouTubers with higher subscribers, right?
Yeah,
Because we don't need it, but we want to grow so we can actually have an audience. Because our audience is small. Like your audience is 1,000 and something, and mine was only 117. I'm a really small YouTuber, but I've been doing it for approximately 2 years.
yeah,
But my upload schedule is terrible. Like, look at this. The videos like there's months. Look, there's a year. There's my 2 year video comes up straight in my newest video comes up when I click videos. And normally, people have to go to next page, next page. No, one page and it says my 2 year video. If you know what I mean.
yeah,
Yeah, but so we justified the reason of Logan. This is where we're coming from with Logan Paul's. I like the way we switch from that to ours, but it's just it links. Basically, this is the reason they do it. This is the reason they clickbait. All right. My next. Oh, I got a. Okay, we have someone asking a question. Yes, Mr. Cool. I say, what is your question? While he types, we will move on to my next question, which is Christian Burns.
Oh, yes, and this is only one that I've looked at recently, but it has made me angry.
Yeah, it's something very big. I was surprised when you said you never heard of it before, and I was like, really? Okay,
Yeah.
wait. Okay, you might be answering this question better than me because I know you do this type of videos. This guy asks, okay, so how do you keep down stress?
How do you keep down stress?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, I have a lot of experience in things like mental health and stuff because I have a lot of people around me that are going through things, and me too. Now, I actually have a video which is actually really, really coincidental coming out on my channel tomorrow at 5 p.m. And it's a 12-year-old girl, so my sister, and she is explaining in her eyes how to deal with certain things. And I would advise to you guys to watch it because it definitely tackles things like depression, bullying, stress, things like that. But if I had to say a couple of things, the first thing would be you need to be doing a little bit of what you love every single day. So for me, it's YouTube. So even if it's watching YouTube rather than making videos, it is a very important thing in my life. I need to carry on doing it to be happy because it's something that I enjoy. So definitely that is number one. Number two is make sure that you are sleeping as best as you can. You are going out as much as you can. You're keeping yourself in a routine. The worst thing you can do is be overloaded with stress and then all of a sudden just drop everything and do nothing. You need to maybe take a step back from the thing that's causing you stress, but make sure that you don't completely remove it out of your life because a little bit of stress is useful. It gives you that ability to work harder, to work towards your goals and ambitions. And what I would say is that stress is temporary. So just hang in there. You can do it.
Yeah. The reason I let him answer that question is because considering his video style and his video, he's more good with these talks, stress. He said thank you, by the way, twice actually. I posted his channel link there, so just subscribe to him and wait until tomorrow to get his next video. If you have any more questions, please do say it. Okay, yeah, back to my question. Christian Burns. So, what's your opinion on this?
Well, I believe that he was a massive, massive douche, okay? To put it in the nicest way possible. The way he went about it was completely wrong. You know, the whole idea of basically telling someone who hasn't got the same job as him, fair enough, but that, you know, they don't earn as much money as him, they're not famous. We're all humans. Just because he's got a little bit of money and a little bit of, you know, support from people, it doesn't mean he doesn't have the right to go say the kind of things he said to the security guards. I think it's really wrong.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, the thing is, because Keemstar, I know you don't like Keemstar. Keemstar did an interview with him, and
Yes.
did you watch the interview?
I watched part of it, yeah, and as much as I could bear of Keemstar, to be honest, but yeah.
So I don't know if you watched part, but he said that the reason he did that was apparently because they choked someone previously, and they showed.
Which I
you saw?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
but then he did it again after as well.
I think at the end of the day, regardless of whether, you know, that let me just say first of all, there's two sides to every single story. Okay, so just because that happened does not mean that he has the right to then abuse other people. You know, that was a situation that had nothing to do with him. He had no idea as to why that was going on. The guy could have been threatening someone. The guy could have had a gun, a knife, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the security guards are there to do their job. And
Exactly.
he doesn't know everything. As much as he does, he doesn't.
Yeah, and also the security guard that he's saying all these stuff to, he was not even involved with the situation.
Yeah.
So the what the guy was doing was just he was just annoyed about everything. Because then when the second video came out, he's like, yeah, that was totally like not right. So so it was never right. He was just trying to justify his reasoning so he stops getting all that hate. It was just a plan. Because then also, why are you going to be on the channel getting interviewed by the guy and be so nice to him when Keemstar did kind of tell him off, like said mean things about him. So then why would you be on a guy that said that to you? Only reason is because he knows that his audience is gonna be like, oh look, the guy it was appropriate for him to do. But no, Keemstar fired back at it, and I actually I know you don't like Keemstar. I know that my viewer doesn't like Keemstar because he says Keemstar is a liar. What Keemstar did there was actually good because he blew him out, and the guy couldn't say nothing about it. He's like, yeah, that was very mean of me, and da 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 da. So it just shows that the guy is just a piece of shit, and
I think, yeah, when people try and go onto these channels, they're doing it to justify themselves. They're not doing it for any other reason. They're trying to backtrack on what they did.
yeah, exactly. It's just a way to bring himself as a victim. He's trying to say he basically did it for the people, which is totally inaccurate. Because if you're telling someone, "I make more money than you," what is that anything to do with the guy chokes on you? You can be like, "Oh, you're a bad person. You just choke that person." Like instead of that, he's like, "I make more money than you. You're
Yeah,
ugly." It's like,
calling him
why?
calling him a up. It's ridiculous. It really is. It goes back to the same idea of um, people from ISIS and terrorists
Mhm.
blaming the the religion. It's the same idea.
Yeah.
He's blaming the fact that someone was being choked by security guards on the actions that he did which were completely irrelevant.
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. That's just. I don't want to keep going on because the topic is still new, so there's not much to talk about. But that's exactly why I mean. Like, it's just wrong. Okay. So, Mr. Cool, do you have any questions? If you do not, we are going to continue to our next topic. We've got two more topics after this because, Mr. Cool, you did miss basically over 45 minutes of us just talking about the terrorist attacks recently. My thoughts go out with the families. Okay, our next topic is KSI.
Yes,
What's your
I
opinion?
think this is an interesting one because again I think it was all for the views. I think that KSI, I love the guy. I've watched him for years, but I think that he got bored of people seeing him in a certain way, and I think now he's going to take a step back and focus on his music. So I think that him, like taking a step back from YouTube was a publicity stunt because if you look at all the sidemen, whenever he is in a video with the sidemen since he's left YouTube,
Hmm.
he always acts like he's really depressed and sad, but that
Hmm.
is just persona because he knows that people are interested in that and people are interested in the drama in his life. So
Hmm.
much so that they'll try anything to find out why he's done what he's done, and that's just
Hmm.
going to make him even more. Let's bring him even more money. It's a clever thing to do.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what kind of music he produces. And yeah, he's a nice guy. I've never met him, but
Yeah.
throughout the years of watching him, I've always laughed at his content, and he's always managed to entertain me.
Yeah. The thing about yeah, I think it was for the music, of course. It was all for that. He is your mic okay? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Brilliant. Okay, cool. Right, I'm on my Mac now. We should be good. Shouldn't lose any connection.
Hopefully. That's a lot of editing. It's okay. So what was I saying? Oh, back to KSI. I was saying that I agree with you. I do think it's a stunt. Actually think that he completely did that for his music video. Have you listened to that music video he was advertising?
What the couple of second clip?
Yeah, there is a song.
Oh, has the song been released?
Yeah, Creature.
Do you know what? I haven't actually had a look at it because I've been busy all day, but I would definitely take a look at it. From the
It's
sneak peek that I saw,
Yeah.
It looked good, but I don't obviously know because I haven't watched the full thing.
There was no music video. It's not a music video because it's on Spotify,
Right. Okay.
but it's new. It's different. It's different from what he done. He is he's better. He's he's better. Okay, I'll
And
just
I think that's exactly what he was trying to do. He was trying to recreate his image
yeah
so that people would kind of forget all about, like the rape face he used to do and
yeah cool
about what he used to do back in the day, which was he was more immature and childish.
yeah
And I think he wants to be taken seriously as an artist.
yeah because if have you seen what happened to him because of his rape face?
What happened, if you don't mind?
No, it's fine. He basically got banned from a couple of because he did that TE thing with that woman. He got banned from that gaming events. Then because of his rape pace, he got attacked by some sexist groups, some racial groups. Everyone was just targeting him, kicking him off certain activities, events, and that's why he completely got rid of it.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you and say this.
Mm.
I watch YouTubers who other people would find offensive, but I watch this YouTuber, and if you don't mind, I'm going to actually say his name. His name is Jack, mate. He's from where I live. And he is very offensive. He says everything you could imagine, right? He's always doing hate videos on people that, irritate him, like people that, like Chavs, for example. And I respect him because he's putting in his opinion, and I think that's fair enough. But there are always going to be people that are offended. And what I believe with YouTube is it's a platform to broadcast yourself and say your opinion. Now, I don't mean that people should be racist, not at all. But if someone is doing something for a comedic value, for a comedic purpose, I think that's acceptable. There's a lot of comedians out there that do that thing.
Yeah.
You focus on the things that are important to you, and there's obviously stories behind why he's pulled the rape face and things like that. And I think people have taken it completely out of context. Something that was meant to be light humor has obviously been turned around throughout the years into something very, very different. Because I think in this day and age, in 2017, there is a lot of focus on things like, the LGBT community, things like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised that people are offended, but I'm going to be honest in saying I don't agree with people taking so much offense to it.
Exactly, same. I agree with you. Like I also watch YouTubers that people might find offensive. Like I watch YouTubers who swear at their own audience. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, so do I. Yeah.
it's just funny. It's just like they swear at you, but it's just a joke and it's hilarious to watch.
Yeah.
That rape face was only a joke. Of course, he hasn't. He said he was a virgin back then. He couldn't even do any of that. That was his confidence. Him doing that because if you remember, the things he says that before when he first started secondary, he used to be a shy kid and not talk to anyone. But then he became and bursted out to be this guy. He rebranded himself, and I think he's redoing that again now. He's rebranding himself completely.
And I think a lot of people go through that. I mean, there's music artists out there that do that for a reason. For example, I don't know how familiar you are with like Miley Cyrus, for example,
Yeah.
but she was obviously someone who was had her own Disney Channel show,
Yeah.
and she had a lot of people that obviously were around that age group. Now, obviously, when she matured, her music was going to change. So she completely just went nuts. Like she shaved all her hair off. She freaking danced around like pretty much naked. She
What's
did
that
a lot of
breakable?
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did a lot of things that are very controversial, but she did it for a very, very interesting purpose. She did it because she thought, you know what, I don't want people to see me like that anymore. So
Yeah.
I'm going to change the way I am, and that will stop the fans of Hannah Montana, for example,
Yeah.
from following me, and I respect that. I respect that
Yeah.
KSI's done that as well.
Ariana Grande did the same thing. Remember how she used to be in a Disney Nickelodeon?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and now like one of her music videos, she's shooting rockets from her tits.
Exactly.
It's
And people do that to make a statement, to say, I'm not that person anymore.
yeah,
Respect it.
it's like me now as well because like this is my third podcast. I haven't done podcasts. I do funny moments on my channel, and this is me rebranding myself. I even like I made like I'm rebranding my whole YouTube, like shall I say, because I don't want to become that guy that just does gaming videos. I want to talk because I want to use that to my advantage because I can talk a lot. I've been told I talk too much actually. So I want to use that, and I like talking. And so this is my podcast. I want to do something new, innovative, and fun for me as well. Because then I don't see YouTube as I have to post this because no one cares about my like. I don't want to say. I want to be very blunt. No one really cares if I upload or not upload because I'm not that big of a YouTuber. I'm very small. They just watch it. Oh, yeah, that guy was funny that one time. Let me check him out again. Or that guy was serious about this. But I want to rebrand myself completely.
Yeah.
I want to grow. So because my storage is nearly going to run out, I'm going to have to move on to the next question before my recording says storage full, and I have to stop. My last topic of the day is Lewis Stewart. Lance Stewart. Lewis? Lance Stewart.
Yeah.
So what's your opinions on that guy?
Okay, well, I haven't actually really seen his videos that much until he popped up on my suggested. And why did he do that? Because he introduced a lot of clickbait and acting into his videos. I think when people watch his videos, they shouldn't take him seriously, but I think the way he's going about it is wrong. You know, saying like that he was going to die within 24 hours, things like that, I think are really stupid because he's a big YouTuber, isn't he? So he impacts a lot of people's lives. And I think that posting stuff like that, I think that's too extreme. I think it's not appropriate.
Yeah.
But fair enough. That's the way he wants to get famous, you know. Let's talk about, for example, I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Zoe Berlinger.
Burger. So
Yeah, that's
Burger.
the one. She said that when she gets to 1 million subscribers, she's gonna make a porno. Why? Because it makes her famous, and
She
that
did
is
actually release nudes.
yeah,
It's on
yeah,
it's on
yeah,
the
yeah.
internet. You can actually.
Right. Okay.
I've
Okay.
seen them.
Well, she did that for a reason. She was like, "Yeah, I'm going to do this because it's going to bring me fame," and I think
Yeah.
that's what people do these days. So, I don't respect him for the way he's gone about it, but I understand that that's what people do in order to get fame.
Yeah, it's all for the fame, but I just think he doesn't deserve any of it. Plus, what he's doing, he's just getting a lot from hate from his own community. The YouTubers hate him for it,
Yeah.
and so when he becomes so big as he wants to become big, what happens when he goes to events? Like events, gets called for events. No one's gonna call him. Like you know how what's his name? That guy. You know the guy from Pranks vs Prank. Uh,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
him. How he
Jesse.
got Jesse. How he got called for that gaming event, E3, right?
Yeah.
And Jesse isn't really a gamer. You can be like, yeah, he has a game channel, but he's not known as a gamer. But he got called for those events because he has a audience. He has people that respect him, and he gets along. But if Lance Stewart, he will never get invited to those events. No one likes him, so it's just not. And there's not really a lot of people that would want to invite him to anything. Yes, he will still earn his money. He'll be in his little corner. People will keep giving him shit on Twitter. But then there's that few followers which like him. I get confused and believe him.
Yeah, yeah. I think that is what is dangerous. Nowadays, YouTube is a platform for everybody of every single age, and you've got a lot of children that could even end up doing stupid things if they think that, like, for example, their favorite YouTuber is about to die. They would go and do stupid things.
Yeah.
You know, they would self-harm, things like that. I think it's a dangerous game, but I think that is something that is quite interesting to talk about because you've got to think as to why these people do these things. It brings them a lot of money. Every 1 million views that someone gets, that's close to £1,000 in their pocket. That is a lot of money,
I also
and to
get
be
that.
and to be getting that from every single video you post, you know, Jake Paul, PewDiePie, loads of these different people. I think that is why they do it.
Plus,
He doesn't care if he doesn't get invited to events. Let's be honest, right?
yeah.
If you were making £1,000 per video that you put online, would you really care about your status, or would you care about the fact that you've just made yourself £1,000 for posting a video online?
It's not even £1,000. He's making more than that. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
of
of
course.
course, yeah. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't give two fucks. But the thing is, he actually does probably earn more than that because that 1,000,000 views approximation, you have to imagine that there can be sometimes free adverts a video or sometimes they decide adverts. Then if he's sponsored, he gets shit ton of money when they're sponsored. Then they get ton of money because of who they basically upload videos for. I forgot what they were called again. Like your one was Mishima. I fucking forgot.
Yeah, 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 like partnerships and things.
Partnership, yeah.
Yeah.
they're gonna get earn so much shit, loads of money. Yeah, I doubt they would care. But still, when the community hates you, doesn't that make you just feel like shit?
I can imagine it does. I can. I wouldn't like that. I would hate for
Yeah.
me to be hated by my own viewers.
That's what I see. When I see you look Twitter or when I see your comment sections, you have a positive vibe all the time.
Yeah, and that is what I like, and that's what keeps me going. And
Yeah.
to anyone out there who wants to start a YouTube channel, I think that first of all, you shouldn't do it for the money. You should do it for the passion that you have.
Hmm.
Second of all, you should always try to remain positive on your channel, even when you're talking about controversial topics as well. And I also think that you should just kind of try and stay away from making clickbait videos that are going to get you in deep, deep trouble.
Yeah, indeed, I agree. Anyway, this is the end of the podcast, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do want to subscribe to this young man, Pedro, his link will be in the description down below. Just subscribe, like, and comment on his videos, and like and comment on this video as well. I don't need to remind you. Come on, like, you should guys just straight away and like and subscribe. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Adios.
Thank you.